as they enter into points of vertigo where they don't know which is right and which is left or up and down, and they feel pain and strain and frustration, and they begin to feel like they are being swallowed into dark spaces that seem endless. When this occurs, the human being looks at these times as being ugly and difficult and things to run away from and things to fear. And Jacob says that these are very special times of co-creation. For when we have a new space, a new void, we have rendered our part of the co-creation in fashioning that new empty space through which the light can enter into and create new creation. So when we meditate or when we pray or when we connect to all, when we bring the intention of look at this wonderful new empty space I created in creation with you, and I can't do it alone, for no one walks alone in this realm. We are all interconnected in the higher realms and also as well on earth. And so all creation is a form of co-creation. And so you take that new space, that new void, that new darkness, and you offer it as a new receptacle to receive the higher light, for creation to take root. When one realizes that the quote-unquote chaos or darkness that enter into people's lives is really a blessing of rebirth. It's really a blessing of an opportunity for expansion and growth. And the reason why an individual is going through that struggle is because the previous world that they lived in, the previous paradigms through which they approached the world, are no longer accurate for the perceptions that they hold within. And so therefore, they're shaking loose their old perceptions and embracing perceptions. They're preparing to embrace perceptions of higher frequency and higher resonance. And so therefore, in a way, they are expanding themselves from the stage of within. And they are coming closer to an intimate connection with all within. And so it's a beautiful time of expansion and beauty. And as an individual begins to process it in this way, an individual will begin to find these times to be quite romantic, and because it's a time of bonding and intimacy. And these times do bring forth a reawakening and a reunion to aspects of one's higher collective self and all within. And that is, it's splendorous, it's beautiful, it's true beauty and love. And there's nothing that is a more powerful frequency than that resonance in the world. So there is much to look forward to for any individual who feels that they are languishing in the quicksand of darkness. There's so much to look forward to. And there's no reason to continue to oppress oneself, oppress each other and yourself through anyone who's struggling in this way, through fields of shame and self-oppression and self-judgment. There's no reason for, these are all beautiful passages to create, is that when individuals are struggling in any form, the solution, it's like quicksand. Quicksand, if you struggle with quicksand, the harder you try to struggle, the deeper you fall in. And so the solution is to not struggle, but to find grace with the dark. And the only way to find grace with the dark without creating duality is to align the dark within the narrative of the light. And how do we do this? Well, for example, let's say an individual suddenly, there are changes, economic changes in the world, and finances become a real issue. Now, the individual wants to do wonderful work, but the same natural, productive rubrics that help make them successful and get to this point in life are suddenly being threatened. But the individual has a choice to focus on the feeling of being oppressed and the feeling of being in want and in need. Or the individual can coalesce with the opportunity that's being afforded. And the opportunity being afforded is for the individual to conquer that fear, that need. The individual can recognize that this is being sent to them in order so that they can internalize the lessons and variations of frequencies of going through this experience. So that way, as a teacher, they now have a deep, deep understanding of how to relate the higher light to others and heal. So it's necessary for them to go through this educational purpose. And so the light worker begins to see their life as an education, as schooling, to take the light, which is infinite, and put it within a network of understanding. For when they put it into a network of understanding, the light creates impressions. It leaves residue of light to impart to others. For when you need to help heal another, to help bring freedom to another, you have ample toolbox of light and resources to give freedom and love and aid and empathize and understand and give off the coordinates for ascension. So all paths are benevolent, and we must learn to thank the darkness, for the darkness is also working in a benevolent path to usher us into ascension when we ourselves, parts of us, do not want to ascend. We are addicted to the control and the fear and the oppression. And so there's parts of us that say, no, we're comfortable with the abuse. We love the abuser. We're addicted to the abuser. We are battered and we want to be abused. The higher self counsels with all the various aspects of self in the dream state, and the decision is made. And the intention is broadcast unconsciously for the individual to put into manifest the breaking of these paradigms so they can usher a greater intimacy with all. And so it is all beautiful, and it is all a true, true love story. And we need to play the game and enjoy the ride.